pop up so I can share it on the regular pages. Go ahead.
Hey y'all, we live already.
Already.
What's going on, everybody?
What's
Welcome,
popping?
welcome.
Going
Hey
on?
y'all, what's
No black
where
folks.
where is that? Is that on Brownstone?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
on the brownstone right now.
Okay.
Ow, ow. No, let me stop.
Lord help us all. Yeah, I see you.
Yes. Hi, everybody.
And it's
I'm gonna be
closed caption
quiet.
for the hearing impaired.
Yes, it is. Closed
So
caption.
there's no excuse.
No excuse whatsoever. I need a hat on. My head look a mess. Listen.
Girl.
Welcome to Cullen's Corner. Hot topics. Y'all ready to get this party started? I'm
Yeah,
Paulette.
Yes, we
let's do it. I'm Cullen.
And I'm DeCarlo Collins.
Yes, welcome, welcome. This is so cool, y'all. Listen, it's been a minute. I feel like I should say like a rock him, like kind of vibe. What was that thing he used to say? It's been a long time. I
Hmm.
shouldn't have. Okay, so we're gonna have to probably end the show with that. But y'all,
Definitely.
welcome, welcome, welcome to Cullen's Corner Hot Topics. And we said that we were going to start the show first of all by thanking everybody for being a part of this particular show. It's the first one of many to come for Cullen's Corner. And we lovingly like to call everybody Corner Family. I don't know who started that. Who was that? Was that you, Colin? Yes, it was you. Um,
Mhm.
and we have a lot of things to cover. The first thing that we wanted to cover was where have we been? Where have we
Mm.
been? Welcome back, and where have we been? That's the first thing that we want to talk about. So I'm going to be quiet, and I am going to let Cullen, the star of Cullen's Corner, take over. What's going on, baby?
No,
Yes.
no, it's been a long time. Like Paulette said, a lot of people have been asking when we were gonna start doing our shows again. So I'm glad we decided to, once we got everything back running, that we decided to jump on it because it's been time. It's been
Yeah.
time that that we talk about the events that's going on today and give
Mm,
people a voice, even though we were one of the first shows to do it, and now everybody's trying to do it, but they're not going to do it like us. So
Right.
I want our listeners, I want our family to continue to to see us, to join us, to share the the show, get the app, KCCR Radio. I know Paulette's gonna go over that a little later. But it's been great, and we got a lot to talk about the next few weeks, and just want everybody to just strap in. It's gonna be a fun ride.
yep, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's your turn, DiCarlo.
Well, what's up, everybody? This is your boy DeCarlo Collins, and welcome to the show. Finally, glad to see some Q Dog back on his thing. That's the best part. It's good to see my brother back. It's always good to hang out with Paulette. This is going to be a fun show. We're going to get into a lot of great topics. Never know who may pop up in here. Might have a
Mm-hmm.
surprise or
True.
two. We might have fans that
Hmm.
come in that want to chime in. So
Right.
this show is going to get fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to everybody continuing to download the KCCR radio app. To everybody that has done it so far, thank you so much.
Yes.
This has been
Thank you.
huge for a lot of great responses from people, a lot of great feedback, and we're taking all that stuff in and putting it together to make this thing work for everybody. So
Yep.
continue to support the movement. We got some great shows coming up. We're going to talk about that at the end of the broadcast. So let's strap in and buckle up. Let's get this party
Right.
started.
Okay. He said, "Buckle up." Oh Lord, have mercy,
Yeah, it's
Lord.
about to get real.
It's about to get
Yeah.
real. But you know what? Here's what's really interesting. We always know that the first show is always kind of bumpy, especially since we haven't, done this in a while. But I think
Hmm.
that we're going to be fine. I'm the biggest talker I think out of the group. Y'all are close second and third. So I am learning how to hold my tongue and keep myself together.
And
So
then you gonna hear me say, you don't need to hold your tongue. I always told her
yep,
that.
you've
I
Yeah.
always
always
said
told
that.
her that.
You've always said that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
one more thing I want to add.
yep,
I
mhm,
want people to if we're gonna still do like letters of the day. So continue sending your letters. I know it really never stopped. I have I've had letters piling up in my inbox ever since our last show, and we're gonna talk about one of them today. But send your topics, whatever topics you want to talk about as a hot topic. And then as we get these shows rolling, we can talk about your topic if you want to come on the as a special guest. If you have like KCCR. I know we're gonna talk about this too about advertising and coming
mhm,
on and doing your own show. Um, we got a platform for you. So let's do it.
yep. All right, I'm excited. Let's talk about this first topic. Oh,
Yeah.
my turn. I didn't say anything. Oh, yes. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about. Okay, first of all, it's your girl Paulette. I am the host of the Day Shift, which airs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on KCCR Radio, the Brownstone. Which, of course, like Cullen and DeCarlo said, you can download the app and listen in to the show. It airs at 10 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it also re-airs at 2 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you didn't catch it during the day, you're able to catch it in the evening as well. Also, the Sunday brunch is available on Sundays, of course. And part of the show, our mantra is we are here to help you rise and shine for your lives. And then on top of that, it airs at 11 a.m. and also at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on KCCR Radio. If you want to check out a myriad of gospel and jazz, along with your spiritual vitamin and what's for brunch. That's all I got. So go ahead and
There we
download the
go.
KCCR Radio, the Brownstone Center app from your iOS and Android devices. So let's begin. Where do we want to start? Who wants to take on this first beast about Ketanji?
I want to just mention that a lot of black women, a lot of little black girls have seen this woman on TV, and they're saying now they can be a justice, or they can do what she's doing because it's been way past due that we had a representation, especially a woman that looked like you, Paulette, on this Supreme Court. And I think she's well. I mean, you know how they say, we gotta do 10 times more
Yeah,
and be 10 times as smart.
sure.
Right.
Man, she showed it. She showed it during those hearings how
Yeah.
smart she is and how qualified she is. So I applaud her. I'm so glad. I'm so happy, that President Biden, decided to keep this promise and put a sister
Mhm.
on the court. And I think it's huge. It's huge.
Right.
It really is.
It is. Absolutely. I just wanted to kind of give some information because this part right here, based on the next topic that we have, is going to blow your mind
Hmm.
because it is going to be a direct correlation to Judge Jackson. But I definitely wanted to go a little bit deeper into the news and explain who she is
Yes.
and what she is bringing to the United States Supreme Court. So let me just because I want to go in about what they're calling her out for today,
Hmm.
and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sit here and go back. So forgive me for taking up a little bit of time here. So we're going to talk about the SCOTUS, which is the Supreme Court of the United States, and let's get into it. So first things first, by a vote of 53 to 47. Do y'all see how close that was? The Senate
Yes.
confirmed Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson as the 116th Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Jackson will become the first Black woman to serve on the court, fulfilling a campaign promise by then candidate Joe Biden during the 2020 presidential campaign. By the time the Senate actually met, there was a little suspense about the outcome of the historic vote. So we have three Republicans, y'all: Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Mitt Romney of Utah had already announced that they would support Jackson, giving Jackson's confirmation the bipartisan imprimatur that the Biden administration had badly wanted. As expected, all 50 Senate Democrats actually voted for the confirmation. So the slim margin actually reflects the current polarization surrounding the politics of judicial confirmation. The three most recent justices, Amy Coney Barrett in 2020, Brett Kavanaugh in 2018, and Neil Gorsuch in 2017, were confirmed in similarly tight votes that broke down along mostly party lines. But in contrast, some of Jackson's other colleagues to be received more bipartisan support. Justice Elena Kagan, for example, was confirmed by a vote of 63 to 37 in 2010, while Chief Justice John Roberts was confirmed by a vote of 78 to 22 in 2005. Now, Jackson was widely regarded as the frontrunner to succeed Justice Stephen Breyer even before the 83-year-old Breyer announced on January 27th of this year that he planned to step down from the court during the summer. So she spent 7 years as a federal trial judge before being elevated in 2021 to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Often dubbed the nation's second most important court because of the high-profile cases that it hears, and because it served as a launching pad for several other Supreme Court justices before her. Before becoming a judge, she worked for 2 years as a federal public defender. She will be the first, listen folks, the first justice ever to have served in that role, and the first since Justice Thurgood Marshall, with significant experience representing criminal defendants.
Wow.
So I'm going to stop there. And we're going to put that in perspective, because one of the things that blew me away during her confirmation hearings over the couple of days that they had, I think it was like a week or two, one of the things that kept coming up was race or race. Race. We actually had Representative Ted Cruz, who actually held up a book about Black children, and he was like, what do you think? And she literally emphatically said, that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to discuss my capability of being able to be a part of the Supreme Court of the United States. And so she had to say that several different times. I think the hard part for me when I was watching her hearing was they were trying to put her on trial and make her seem incompetent.
Right.
That is what got me. And I thought, what in the world? And honestly, I didn't see them do that because I watched a little bit of Brett Kavanaugh's from a couple of years ago when he was confirmed. And I do recall where they kind of gave him a hard time. But Brett Kavanaugh's kind of conservative, folks. So they were trying to rub him the wrong way to see where his head would fit in roles when it called for him to take off his conservative coat. Right. But they still didn't do the communication piece the way that they did with this woman, to the point where she was literally in tears. And I know that what's the young man's name from Michigan, the representative, what was his name? Cory Booker.
Yeah.
And what he said to her, I thought was for a beautiful sentiment to her, to help her to hold on and to really to basically, like he said, rise, because that's what he did. He gave her that. And I want to play that a little bit later. But what are your thoughts on what's happening in terms of her positioning? Do we know if she's already in office, or is she already, set up and ready to rock and roll, which I believe that she is, which is why we're getting the news that we're getting today. What are you all's thoughts on her being a part of the Supreme Court?
First off, is monumental. We already know that. Let's get those words out the way. I think the thing that we have to look at now is when she steps in that role, got to remember, she's just one of 7, 9 votes that's going to be in that chair. It's still an impactful vote, but she is one of those faces.
Right.
And I think the thing that we have to look at now and understand is this is great for our children. This is great for the future to see. There is so many different races, so many different colors that's in those seats right now. So you add another color to that seat, and it's a beautiful thing about it. To watch her go through that whole entire interview is what I call it. I don't I don't. It pretty much was an interview, and for her to get scrutinized down to the core, when she had tears coming down her eyes, for
Mm-hmm.
her to go through that and have to answer, to me, dumbass questions
That has,
was
yeah,
Right.
probably the most. That's to me what your power is. Because here's my thing: what I saw. I saw somebody's grandmother, I saw somebody's aunt, I saw somebody's mother, I saw somebody's cousin, sister
Yeah.
sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
And it seemed like for that very brief moment, she was representing every single person that we all
Yes.
have seen
Absolutely.
in our family,
Absolutely.
our friends, and she represented well. She took that
Mm-hmm.
hit. So if you want to notice about the soul of a woman, especially the soul of a black woman, soul of
Mm-hmm.
a black woman takes a lot of heat each and every
mm,
day.
Mm. Come on now. You said
So
that. Not me.
that was the one thing that I really, really saw during that whole entire thing. If you didn't see that part, then to me, you're really not human. Because think
Mm.
about it, the most scrutinized person in the world is the black woman. Period. She get it from us sometime. She get it from white America.
Mm-hmm.
She has baked cakes. She has fed babies all the way up until even now. The texture of her hair is being scrutinized still,
It
even though there was
is.
a law that had to be set in place for a black woman not to be discriminated because of her hair. It's
Mm.
yeah,
ridiculous. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to look at everything that she represented during those 2.5 weeks or however long it took. That's the beauty of this thing. Now, what is her role going to be when she steps in here? She has to make sure that she is pretty much still in the middle when it
Right.
comes to decisions that has to be made. She cannot be influenced by this side. She
Right.
cannot be influenced by the other side.
Right.
And I think that's the one thing that we really have to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Are we, besides her, did we put the right people in those positions to make decisions that's going to improve and help the United States of America? I hope
Mm-hmm.
so. That's the big
but
thing that I look at.
the the big problem I see with the Supreme Court now is that it's become a political pawn piece,
Yes.
and
Mm.
it's never, even when to me it shouldn't be. It should it's once it gets to the Supreme Court, it's supposed to be those impartial, final impartial, hey, I know I may be conservative or I may be, you know, I, but I want to do what's best for the people, and I want to do what's best for our democracy. And for the last 8 years, it's turned
Right.
to a political game,
My
maybe
God.
more than 8 years.
Yeah.
And I I really like the way that it's when she was on the, when they were talking to her, and she kept her cool. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she and she I noticed it because I just had it on as I was working and stuff, and
Mhm.
some of those questions I was like, it's just crazy. But then when you really start looking and listening, and they probably were saying, you know what, we're gonna get it today. This is a good question. This, and every answer she had was thought out,
It was.
methodical.
Mhm.
It was,
Yeah.
and even if they tried to play her words against her, she would correct them.
Mm-hmm. Did you
Yeah.
notice that?
Yes,
Oh, she
yes.
did
Like,
that. She did that. Yeah.
and it just made me, by looking at it, just but I was, I read up on her, I researched. I'm like, oh yeah, great, black woman, yay. But
Mm-hmm.
looking at that made me make me feel like I knew her more.
Right.
Right.
And as a black woman, Paulette, you have to, have that face, because you don't want them thinking you're, angry black woman because you disagree, which I think a lot of, even my wife has told me that that's one of the
Yeah.
things that she said, that's the face you have to portray when
Right.
you're out there, but
Mm-hmm.
yet you still have to still do what you got to do. And I just think that I have to commend her. I think it's like she put on a show, even
She
though
Yes.
did.
even though they didn't want to admit it. Even at the end when they were voting for her, they knew she was the best. Half of them were even complimenting, saying, "You know what? You're great. You're just that. I just can't vote for
And what
Yeah.
was that
you." And
about? Like,
that's the problem I see nowadays. Why can't you
I was,
vote for her? If
why can't
she's
you?
perfect for the job, stop being
Mm-hmm.
political. and stop being racial and just do what's right for your constituents and do what's right for democracy. If
Right.
you believe in democracy and the Constitution, then you're it's I'm feeling bad for the our democracy and the way the country has gone in the last 8-10 years. It's
Mm-hmm.
not good.
No,
With all
No,
the it, it isn't. So
but
I saw her as a glimmer of hope that this is something that we can get out of it.
yeah,
well,
I
you
saw.
got to look at the bigger picture. Pandora's box opened when it came to the government when President Obama was voted in as the president of the United States.
Okay.
That's
Hmm.
when Pandora's box was opened in, and we saw the real truth about our politics. We've been knowing it for a long time, but
Yeah.
now that we have complete access to it through the use of internet services, through
Mm-hmm.
the use of social media, and
Mm-hmm.
people are becoming more educated, now we're seeing that, okay, 9 times out of 10, the majority of these people are shady. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. If you
Period.
can't logically vote on a normal sense of being a human, something is completely wrong with you.
Right.
So that's like me telling you, "Oh, you are so qualified for this job. You know everything about it. You have years of experience. You have 5 degrees. You've done all that you've done. But I can't hire you.
Mm. Right.
Crazy. Insanity. What is that?
I cannot hire you. What is wrong with that?
I don't
This
know.
lady is overly qualified for this position. And here's a senator that came to you and said, "Oh my God, I believe in you. I think you're going to do a great job, but I can't vote for you because you're not a conservative."
Yeah.
That's the world we live in.
It is.
That's really the world we live. That's like a white man coming to me saying, "Oh, I seen you hit a ball 475 feet over the fence, but you can't be on my team because all I got is white people."
Mm.
Right.
That's it. That's just all it boils down to.
Right.
So that's the sad part. It opened up Pandora's box way more, and we see it all the time. And then you look at it further into it. Donald Trump was the same way. He kicked the door even further wide
Hmm.
open. And look at all the things that have occurred, the paper trails that has been left.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still battling over things that was left during his 4 years. So I expected that. I expected it so wholeheartedly, but she really held her ground.
She did.
That's why I realized she is qualified for this position
Absolutely.
because you got to be able to take the bullets that come with it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm gonna say this, and then I want to make sure that we listen into what State Representative Cory Booker had to say about Mrs. Jackson rather. Um, so I have to agree with you guys wholeheartedly about everything that you're saying. I think that what this has done, first of all, this is a lifelong, unless of course she decides to retire next week, this is going to be her career going forward. The impact that I'm sure that it's had on her family, her husband, who has been by her side the entire time, he's an MD, her daughters that were there and supporting her. I like the fact that what you said was she looks like me. Y'all, she got sister locks. She and I are the same age. We both have degrees, educated, and we represent the fact that most Black women that I don't know many Black women that don't have some kind of certification, education, or something. And so
Right.
Right.
we're this we and from what I'm understanding, hey Jennifer Smith, how are you? Hey Joe Brazil, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for the likes. We appreciate you all. One of the things that I want to point out before we play this is the fact that she looks like us, she sounds like us, she
Hmm.
understands. But let me also be clear. Let me be clear, because here's where we get messed up when it comes to Black folks who are in positions in high offices. We forget that they represent all of the United States and not
Right.
just us,
Yep.
right?
Right.
So one of the things that I really felt sad for during President Obama's administration or his time in office was I heard this a lot. He did nothing for us. Okay, well, first of all, he's not just your president, right? He was
Exactly.
everyone's president. And then also
Yeah.
they did everything that they could to keep him from doing what he could do. But the biggest issue that he had was because he did not have enough support from the Democrats because there just were not enough. And that is where we need to be doing our due diligence during the primary season in voting in the right people. One of the things that I found to be very disgusting throughout her entire confirmation was, again, at the end, was when there were like 2 or 3 people who were like, I think she's great. She's got all of the qualifications. I still vote no. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world are we talking about here? This woman is qualified. She got it going on. And let me just say this, from a Black woman's perspective, we have had to be all of the things. Okay. And I posted about this on one of my reels where a young lady was on TikTok. She was talking about how, you know, Big Mama was the one who had 4 or 5 jobs, made sure that the family ate, made sure that everything was okay. But at the end, everybody want to be like her, but y'all forget she was the victim. She didn't have no choice. Who else was going to do it? Daddy was gone. He disappeared. There was nobody to make sure that the kids ate. And unfortunately, in the midst of everything that is going on in a lot of Black women's lives, we are still the victim. But we choose to take that victimization that people try to put on us, and we become victors. And that is the thing that I really enjoyed about seeing Michelle Obama, our vice president, and also Mrs. Jackson. I enjoy seeing them being in the position that they're in, because it shows us as a people, and as women, as Black women, as women of color, that there are places for us, and we do have a voice. And we're not just, let me put this out here, because unfortunately, you know, social media and some of the shenanigans that I see online that young ladies are doing are telling us that we're the kind of people that I am, and that Dr. Jackson and Kamala Harris are, and all these other people, they're telling us that we don't exist. And I say that we do.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
Definitely.
And Joe says it was a tactic. I'm going to go ahead and share this on the screen. Joe Brazil says this right here. I'm going to go ahead and share it on the screen. Let me show that. Okay, there it is. All right, so Joe says it was a tactic to wear her down.
Yeah.
And make her crack and come out of character. And baby, she held the line. They wanted her to do what I just did. You see that?
She did.
Because if you had a real, and not saying a real sister, but if you had one of these country women like Paulette sitting up there in Congress, that would have been a different type of CN broadcast that we would be sitting on here still tweeting about, just like Will Smith and Chris Rock. I'm just telling the truth. That
but you know what? Doesn't matter, because they wasn't going to vote for her anyway.
Period.
Yes.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
So to me, she could have showed out a little bit if she wanted to, but she did that for herself. And she
kind of did, because she kept telling him, that's not what I'm here for. We're not here to talk about race. We're not here. We're here to talk about XYZ. Hi, Ruby, how are you? Yes, she held the line. She absolutely did. And I'm proud of her for that. So one of the things I wanted to do is make sure that we play what Cory Booker said to her. It's about 4 minutes long, but I think that it is necessary in everything that we're talking about before we move on and start talking about the leak that came from the Supreme Court office this week. You ready, y'all? Let's get into it, and let's take a listen.
Is it playing?
I don't hear anything.
You can't hear it?
No.
Okay. All right. So I am going to try it another way, because I want y'all to hear this. He went in, and y'all know what? He was so on point, y'all. Listen, he was so on point that it brought her to tears. I was in tears. I was like, yeah, he hit that right on the head. So I'm going to see if you guys can hear it this way. Hang on just a second.
About this is, it didn't happen last year.
Can y'all hear that?
You were put on a court that I'm told is considered like the second most powerful court in our land. And you were passed with bipartisan support. Nobody brought it up then. Did they not do their homework? Were they lax? Did they make a mistake? I wonder, as they ask you the question, do you regret? I wonder if they regret that they didn't bring that out. No. Why? Because it was an allegation that is meritless to the point of demagoguery. You are, I don't mean this in any way, because if anybody called me average, I would be upset, but you are a mainstream judge. Your sentencing, I've looked at the data, falls in the mainstream on everything from child sexual assault to all the other issues that people are trying to bring up. Some of these things that are being cast at you, that you called George Bush a war criminal, come on, that is painful. Especially because, as you said, the brief change, these are names that you have to put in. And we're talking about a real issue that goes to the core of our values, torture. Barack Obama was named once Bush left office. There is an absurdity to this that is, it is almost comical if it was not so dangerous. Because the next time a judge comes before us on the right or the left that has a body of work like you do, gosh, one of the some performance artists on our side could pull out one of the cases where they were below the sentencing guideline, say, for example, it was on something like as horrific as rape that we all agree is horrific. And they could suddenly put themselves as the defense. How dare we put someone who's soft on crime? Well, are you soft on crime? God bless America. I want to tell you, when I look at you, this is why I get emotional. I'm sorry, you're a person that is so much more than your race and gender. You're a Christian, you're a mom, you're an intellect, you love books. But for me, I'm sorry, it's hard for me not to look at you and not to see my mom, not to see my cousins, one of them who had to come here and sit behind you. She had to have your back. I see my ancestors and yours. Nobody's going to steal the joy of that woman in the street or the calls that I'm getting or the texts. Nobody's going to steal that joy. You have earned this spot. You are worthy. You are a great American. Your hero is Constance Baker Motley. Mine, she has sat on my desk for my offices that I've held. She's my icon of America. Her name is Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman is one of my heroes because the more I read about this person, the more, she was viciously beaten. Her whole life, she used to fall into spells, cracked skull. She faced starvation, chased by dogs. And when she got to freedom, what did she do? Did she rest? No, she went back. Again and again and again. The sky was full of stars. But she found one that was a harbinger of hope for better days, not just for her and those people that were enslaved, but a harbinger of hope for this country. And she never gave up on America. She fought led troops in the Civil War. She was involved in the suffrage movement. And as I came back from my run, after being near assaulted by someone on the street, I thought about her and how she looked up. She kept looking up. No matter what they did to her, she never stopped looking up. And that star, it was a harbinger of hope. Today, you're my star. You are my harbinger of hope. This country is getting better and better and better. And when that final vote happens and you ascend onto the highest court in the land, I'm going to rejoice. And I'm going to tell you right now, the greatest country in the world, the United States of America, will be better because of you. Thank you.
Amen.
All right, folks. We're taking our very first break. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody, to Cullen's Corner. We are talking currently about Ketanji Brown Jackson. That was U.S. Senator Cory Booker and his I give it his tribute to Ketanji as she sat and was being grilled. So I definitely wanted to point that out. But Cullen just told us that we had a break, so we got a break. There we go. All right. So during this break, we want to definitely let everyone know that KCCR Radio, the Brownstone Center, is open for business. Y'all don't want to miss that. Here's what we need you guys to do. If you're currently interested in becoming a part of KCCR Radio, the Brownstone, you want your own show, you got some stuff that you want to build out and do your thing, fizzle. I need you guys to send us an email at contact@brownstonesound.com. The reason why is because we're going to send you an application. The application is not what you think it is. It is basically just so that you can go ahead and get your information to us, and then we're going to reach out to you and talk to you guys about 30 minutes, 60 minutes, if you want a daily or a thank you, Joe, so much. We appreciate you. And if you want to be a part of the family, we got some leasing options available to you. Praise the Lord, saints. There you go. That's yes. So who wants to talk about who's coming up tomorrow? Who's on the air tomorrow?
Nakima. Tea Time is on the air tomorrow. So make sure y'all check out that show. The show is actually pretty good. She really touches on issues that affects her world. She's animated. She's very animated.
She is.
Imagine dealing with her for 36 years of her life.
Oh my God.
So she's
not that bad.
Wonderful show. I'm very proud of her. Urban Minimalist, another one we got to get on too. That's a great show that comes on 8 o'clock, between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the radio app. KJ in the Hall is on this weekend. That's going to be a great show for him, as well as the Sunday brunch.
Yeah.
And
also, I'm going to be bringing back For Lovers Only. I've had some people calling me about that. They're like, you know what, Cullen Corner, we love it, but we need some For Lovers Only, and we love it. And my boy Lamont, they miss your show too, buddy. So I've been getting some.
Shout out to El Boogie in the building.
Yes.
Lamont Belton. yes. But yeah, and now if we could just get the Joe Show to join the family, we would just go ahead and just.
He too busy selling cars, t-shirts.
Lord have mercy.
He's gonna be selling weave in a minute. I'm waiting on him to start selling weave in a minute. When he start doing that,
what you saying to come?
Hey, I'm proud of it. I'm waiting on him to sell weave. When he say he got Joe's weave and wigs, it's a wrap.
What you say? Oh my goodness! I hope Joe heard that. But yeah, so we are really excited. We have some other folks too who are joining the fold. We're going to be sharing some information on the Brownstone Center. I do know that we have a Zoom call next week with a couple of our new air personalities that are joining. And y'all, we actually do an onboarding class with you guys. So you don't want to miss that, because we're going to be going in and teaching you all some things that you definitely need to know. We have packages available. And we're going to be doing some other cool things live, because come on now that Cullen's Corner is back, we got to do another cruise. We have to do another cruise. Got to do another cruise. Can't wait. Oh my God, we got to do another cruise. I'm telling you that, come and go with us. And if Winnie is still on here, hey Winnie, we need to go back so we can do the thing and lay out in the beach and let the fish run through our hair in like it did when we were in Mexico. So we had a really great time. But enough about that. So once again, welcome to the Brownstone Center. This is Cullen's Corner, and I like to say that we're sitting on the front porch. You know how you sit on the front porch and talk noise with your grandparents? We talking noise tonight.
We talking.
So we talking. What's the next topic, y'all?
Ooh, it feeds right. Yeah, it feeds right into. We're going from talking about Supreme Court Justice Ketanji, I can't say her name, Miss Jackson. Yeah, but we're going into this Roe versus Wade thing, and I think this is a great thing to really discuss, because this is something that I think it's affecting all of us. So, Paulette, give us the details on what's going on with Roe versus Wade,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
So, first of all, basically, let's talk about where we currently are. And what we know is that the Supreme Court has actually voted to strike down that landmark decision, Roe v. Wade. I believe it actually came down in 1978, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about the year, but let me just say this, that they're actually saying Justice Alito writes in an initial majority draft circulating inside the court, we hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. So I'm going to give you guys just a little bit about what's happening. So the Supreme Court has voted to strike down the landmark Roe versus Wade decision, according to an initial draft majority opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito, circulated inside the court and obtained by this particular news source. The draft opinion is a full-throated, unflinching repudiation of the 1973 decision, which guaranteed federal constitutional protections of abortion rights, and a subsequent 1992 decision, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, that largely maintained the right. Roe was egregiously wrong from the start, Alito writes. Now, how he could say that, I don't know, but we hold the Roe and Casey must be overruled, he writes in the document labeled as the opinion of the court. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. So basically what it sounds like to me just from this, and I'm actually looking at the draft, y'all, that was done actually in February. Abortion presents a profound moral issue on which Americans hold sharply conflicting views. Some believe fervently that a human person comes into being at conception and that abortion ends an innocent life. Others feel just as strongly that any regulation of abortion invades a woman's right to control her own body and prevents women from achieving full equality. Still, others in a third group think that the abortion should be allowed under some but not all circumstances. And those within this group hold a variety of views about the particular restrictions that should be imposed. So, for the first 185 years after the adoption of the Constitution, each state was permitted to address this issue in accordance with the views of its citizens. Then, in 1973, this court decided Roe versus Wade, Roe v. Wade, 410 U.S. 113. Even though the Constitution makes no mention of abortion, the court held that it confers a broad right to obtain one. It did not claim that American law or the common law had ever recognized. So this is like a 98-page document, but I'm going to finish this paragraph right here. Recognize such a right, and its survey of history ranged from the constitutionally irrelevant, such as its discussion of abortion in antiquity, to the plainly incorrect, such as its assertion that abortion was probably never a crime under the common law. After cataloging a wealth of other information having no bearing on the meaning of the Constitution, the opinion concluded with a numbered set of rules, which much like those that might be found in a statute enacted by a legislature. So here's the highlighted portion that I need us to hear. At the time of Roe, 30 states still prohibited abortion at all stages. In the years prior to that decision, about a third of the states had liberalized their laws, but Roe abruptly ended that political process. It imposed the same highly restrictive regime on the entire nation, and it effectively struck down the abortion laws of every single state. As Justin Byron White aptly put in his dissent, the decision, I'm going to finish it up, y'all, represented the exercise of raw judicial power. So what it sounds like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong on any stance for this, I'm understanding that this particular decision is based solely on the fact that they want to give the power back to the states. Am I correct in understanding that that's
correct.
what I'm
That is correct.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, so basically the Supreme Court is going to take their hands off of it and say, here, it's on you. But then when that happens, the problems begin, because I understand that just this week, another state, if I'm not mistaken, it was Oklahoma that passed the law. Then it was Arkansas that passed it. And then, so now you can't have abortions after 6 weeks. Most women don't find out that they're expecting or that they're pregnant until they're about 6 weeks along. Then it was the heartbeat law. Then I know Texas, and then we've got Florida. That's not far. I understand that Georgia's got something in position now, right? And I'm in the state of Georgia. And so I'm watching all of these states come under the guise of women's skirts and their pantyhose and their undergarments, and they're telling women what they can and cannot do with their bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut
Yeah.
up because I'm about to go off.
I
Gentlemen,
want you to go off. I want you to go off because this is one thing that
go ahead.
it doesn't matter to me. This is my personal view. No, regardless of how I feel about abortion, about how my religious beliefs are, I do not believe that I should put my beliefs on you and say you can't do this because I don't believe it's right because my
Right,
God says it's wrong.
Yeah.
You
right,
know what I'm saying? And to me, that's how it should be. I'm not as a man, I cannot tell you as a woman what to do with your body,
right.
and no matter what. And to me, it's just wrong. It's like why if it's not affecting you, then just let the people do what they need to do. But it's to me, it's like they're trying to just do this. They're trying to put it under the guise of religion, but it's not under the guise of religion. But they want to do all this because it's religious, and my God, this, but you still believe in the death penalty, and you still believe in, you know, you don't want to do anything when people, for racism or this and that. So you can't have it all.
Mhm.
You can't have one thing, but then you want to, turn your back on another. And so it's just really it's disappointing. And I think that when they do put this vote down, they put it down, and the people are going to put it in record that they're against it. It's
Yeah.
going to follow them through history.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to follow them through history, and
That
I
is
don't
true.
think I don't think they a lot of people want. They already on the opposite side of history when it came to Trump and the
Mm-hmm.
voting, and now they want to get on the opposite side of history of this. I just think I don't think they're thinking it through. I just thinking they thinking it was my base wants it, we're going to do it, and I
Right.
just think you're not thinking about the entire package. You're not thinking about how this is going to affect those women that
At all.
they may need it.
Yep.
They may go back to where it was before when they used to do it themselves,
That part.
and
Right
hurt
there.
themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I know you mentioned
Right.
that the other day, Paulette, and this to me, it's crazy. It's
Yep.
crazy.
My
And
biggest
one,
thing,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, my only biggest thing, and I agree with everything Cullen says because he blatantly put it out there. My biggest thing is still, and I might get ridiculed for this, so forgive me to all my non-colored friends. There's still white people making decisions for
Mm.
women. Period.
Mm.
That is the biggest problem. We still have, and I heard some man, and I'm at work, and there's a conversation about this thing going on. And this guy says, you know, why are men making decisions about women? I said, no, you need to rephrase it. Why are white men with dollars in their pocket still
Mm-hmm.
making decisions for all women? It's
Mm,
still going on to this day. We can go back to women's rights to vote back in the 20s. We can always go fast forward to now to Roe versus Wade, and we can
Mm-hmm.
even go to everyday living. Like I said earlier, there's a law that was written in California to protect black women from wearing natural hair at their jobs. White men had to make a decision
Yep.
on hair. So let's go back to this. It's the same thing. None of us, me and Cullen, has no right to make a decision on a woman's body. Period. We don't, and it shouldn't be based on religion. And serve me if I'm right. Aren't we supposed to separate church and state?
yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
That
Yes.
part. That part. Absolutely.
I'm just
You're
making
right.
sure. I read the Constitution a few times. I skipped some, but
Right.
but but the thing that
Yep.
said is separate church and state. You're
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
supposed to separate your view, and that represents all of us when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to anything. We're supposed to separate our personal views from the logical sense because what you
Yeah.
believe is not what I believe. Now, if
Right.
I say my beliefs, yes, I have my own. Do I believe in abortion? No, I do not. But I understand because there's certain situations that occur
Right.
that they're not discussing. Let's put one out there right now. Rape.
That part.
Let's put one out there. There could be other things. It's a choice. So that's my biggest thing. But I think that we got to look at the bigger issue out of this thing. There is still men making decisions
Mm.
in things that they should not be making decisions on, and one of those is women's rights.
Amen.
That's just my opinion.
And y'all getting ready to hear from a woman on several
Okay.
different. Here's he said, okay. now, y'all forgive me because what I'm doing is I'm pulling up some stuff that I saw on my timeline earlier today, and I think that it is important that we just at least. So I'm going down my timeline. Hold on, I'm all on everybody else's. Here we go. Y'all so pro-life, but don't think about the lives of the mothers, or orphans, or foster children, or the poor, or the abused kids whose parents didn't want them. Y'all just care about the fetuses you didn't help make, won't raise, and won't think about once they're born. Save it. That's what it says. And that was actually posted by, by Voter Choice, but then also it was shared by Clarence Ahmed. And we know him as Sammy Ahmed. So one of the things that I want to definitely point out from a woman's perspective is this. But we just all up and down women's penny lines today. Listen, let me just say, first of all, we're gonna talk about one thing. First things first. One, I was on TikTok and they tearing it up over there. Okay. So one of the things that you just said, DeCarlo, that I think is important to point out is that these are white men that are making choices for women's bodies around the country. Here is where a lot of the sisters are, and when I say sisters, I'm talking about Black women. They're like, we're not holding up that fight with y'all this time. Let me tell you why. Because y'all voted them folks in there. When you voted, you took your privilege and you voted folks in, and in his time in office, that joker put 3 conservative judges on the bench. We saw it coming, okay? But while we out here fighting to say her name, like Sandra Bland, while we're telling you we want people to say his name, and all of our babies and our children that are being lost in this struggle against police brutality, not to mention the violence that's happening in our own communities and our own hands. When we're talking about we can't help Karen because y'all didn't listen to us when we told you this was going to happen when you voted them folks in. The minute they put Kavanaugh on the bench, I was like, here we go. Because I knew he already told you what his stance was. And I was like, well, here we go. I personally am of the age where I have hot flashes. So that should tell you I am no longer of the childbearing age. But I have daughters, right? Not only do I have daughters, I have nieces, and I have friends, and I have aunties, and I have cousins, and I have siblings that are still of the childbearing age. And there are situations that may happen that may not be about rape. It might just be a choice. Mm-hmm. I'm not where I need to be in my life right now. Having a baby right now is not the thing to do. Then I've heard this argument with, then you ought to keep your legs closed and so forth. Well, then, you know what? If that's the case, then not one of us would be here, and we would not be having this conversation right now if everybody ought to keep their legs closed. Okay? That's not the argument that we're having. At the end of the day, women are not going to stop having abortions. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that Chef Babette actually went on TikTok and told her story of being assaulted as a 16-year-old girl. Her mother never found out. She ended up taking her paycheck from her little job, 2-week paycheck, $81. She paid a woman to come to her house and provide her with a douche made of bleach and Pine Sol. And she bled all over the house. And it was just her and her best friend and this lady. And then the lady left after it looked like she was going to make it. And she bled all over the house. And she said, what would have happened if her mother had to come home and found her bleeding to death or dead? How many women are going to die giving themselves an injection of quinine, an injection of Pine Sol, jumping up and down on stairs, doing all kinds of craziness to remove an unwanted fetus? Listen to what I'm saying. Unwanted. Now let's take it a step further, and let's talk about other people that I've seen on social media platforms talking about their experience of being the unwanted child. Let's talk about that. The
Mm.
abuse, the being cursed out, the being told that I didn't want your ass no way. I only married your mammy because I knocked her up. How many times have I heard that growing up? And I'm not talking about me personally, but I've heard other parents tell their kids that. And I was the guest in the living room, embarrassed on the plastic furniture. Think about what that does to someone's mental health, their emotional well being, their ability to be able to communicate and to function in today's society when you know that you're not wanted, that you were never wanted. And all these folks outside these clinics and stuff, oh, save your baby. Not one of you is going to give her. So, and then she had the baby. The man is going to disappear. No offense, gentlemen. The man's going to disappear. And she's left holding the bag. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. Right.
How you know?
Because I got 4 babies and all of them got different daddies.
Mm-hmm.
And each time, I had to say it like that, color purple. And I ain't messed up. Y'all talk about me all you want to. I ain't messed up about it. I have lived my life and I am proud of who I have become. How about that? So go ahead and talk about me if you want to. But here's what I know. What I know is I was left holding the bag. Okay? I was talked about. I wasn't helped. I wasn't supported. I was called a hoe. I was this. I was that. Yes, I know about it. But I had to hold my head up. There were days there was no food in my house. There were days when I couldn't even go somewhere to get an appointment to get food stamps because I had to make sure that there was a roof over my kids' head. The days I slept hungry because I had to make sure that my children ate. And I'm talking about KJ and Lily. That's when I was in my final years of graduate school. Don't do it. While their dads did whatever they wanted to, highfalutin and doing whatever and jumping off and doing other stuff. And I'm trying to figure out how A and B gonna equal C. But yet and still, we're having this whole conversation about a woman's body and what y'all gonna tell me what to do with it. And I'm gonna be stuck holding the bag. You got something for me if I got to hold this damn bag? Where's the food? Where's the housing? Where's free education? Where's all of this since y'all want me to hold the bag? None of that was available to me. As a matter of fact, when Aaliyah was born, there was a law that had been put in place that if you got any kind of state assistance outside of food stamps, after 18 months, you were no longer eligible to get any other state aid for the rest of your life. I had to stop working to give birth. I had to stop working because I needed to do 6 weeks and couldn't do the 6 weeks because I had to go to work immediately. KJ came home from the hospital. I was at work that night because I couldn't afford not to be working. Where was the help? So I'm saying all of this from the perspective of a woman who chose to have her children, right? Because at the end of the day, that was my what? Choice. And I think that it's wrong to take away people's choice. Period, point blank. Because at the end of the day, it's the woman that's carrying that bag. She carries the baby for 9 months. She goes through labor and delivery. I had my babies by myself, except for one.
Wow.
I was alone. Because y'all too busy at the club, partying, knowing I'm in labor. Wouldn't come in the room when KJ was born, refused. I need clarity. So it's okay for women like me to continue to go through that because y'all want to stay in my underwear. Are you insane? I don't understand. I need y'all help me understand, gentlemen.
It's hard to. It's hard to understand because it's one of those things where in the end, like I said, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna continue to say this. I'm not gonna make you do what I believe in.
Right.
And I'm not going to put my beliefs on somebody else. And I think that in the end, that's how it should be. And just like DeCarlo says, y'all in church and state, where happened with that? Because in the end, their main argument it's because it's against their religion or the
Yeah.
religion of the land. And if that's your argument, then you don't have an argument because you're the ones who took religion out of it. So and now you want it this way. So to me, can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right.
So I think let people do what they need to do. If they decide to have a kid, have a kid. If they decide to have an abortion, that's on them.
Right.
That's on that person,
I was
and that's
sitting
how it
here,
should be.
right. I was sitting here listening. I'm trying to confirm the reports of what we was talking about earlier to make sure it's legit. This still ain't came up yet, but I agree with everything you're saying. I think the thing that hit me the most, as Paulette was talking, I was picturing everything that she was saying.
Mhm.
To be able to visualize that and to go through these things is the reason why we have to have
Yeah.
this law in place.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, somebody could die, and there has been people that has
Oh
died
yeah. Hmm.
from these things because they did it, quote unquote, the bootleg way or
Mhm.
anything of that nature. So we have to have certain things in place. That's the problem with our society today. Think about it on the flip side. I think if you add on other things, just like this, you need to revise the gun control laws. You
Absolutely.
need to revise.
Mhm.
You got to revise. You had to go back and revise the civil rights
Civil
law
Rights
of
Act.
1965.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yep.
You had to revise that because it was expiring like one of my credit cards. So, you know,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just the thing is, you have to look at it and say, okay, are we really doing the American thing? We're
Right.
doing whoever's thought it is thing. I understand on one side what these people are saying, but you got to look at the reality of what life is.
Yeah.
It is different than what it used to be.
Yeah.
When the pilgrims came back here around whatever time it was in the 1400s, they came for the freedom of being able to praise and live freely
Yes.
away from the queen laws and rules. They was able to, and it built a country which was technically on our backs, but it built a beautiful country out of it where we're able to praise, worship, live, choose our lifestyles, whatever we want. That's what happened to this great country. Is there
Mhm.
some bad things that's in this great country?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. What can we where can we start? But if we look at it from a real standpoint, let's look at it from a human
Mhm.
standpoint, not a black nor white standpoint. Let's look at it from a human standpoint. We are still not protecting our women, period.
Mhm.
Period. We're not.
We're not. We're not protecting our women.
No.
In this case, I don't know if y'all seen this show called The Handmaid's Tale, but
Yeah.
you
Let it
know,
be.
it's a little bit like that. So that's my
Mhm.
thought process on that, man. I think personally, we just got to really get to the bottom of it as humans, as Americans, and we got to put the right people in the office that's
Yeah.
representing us and not representing themselves.
Absolutely. And before we wrap and go on to the hot topic of the night, I definitely wanted to put this on. It's really unfortunate that we're having this conversation, but we also have to look at something that is starting to happen. And it's only because I did a little bit of research on this. The European population in the United States of America is dwindling by the decade, and if your population is dwindling, the power that you have is going to dwindle too,
Mhm.
especially as the years go
Mhm.
by and folks start to grow up. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see certain people being voted into office and so forth. But I also wanted to talk about this briefly. We have to continue to get out here and vote, period. Y'all voting the wrong folks in because they
Gotta
smile
vote.
cute. You're not looking at what they can offer. You're not looking at their agenda. You're not pulling up their websites and doing your due diligence. You're not doing any of that. Matter of fact, you're not going out to vote. We going out to vote in the main primary, and that ultimately is voting for the president of the United States. Are you voting in your local elections? Are you every
Yes, ma'am.
time that
Mhm.
that thing is is open every time that the
Yep.
doors of the voting church is open. You ought to be in there, but you need to be in the know. You have to be in the know, right? And so with that, I know we could go on and on and on about this topic. What I would encourage every one of you all to do before we take our next break, we got some breaking news that's coming through. One of the things I definitely wanted to do was to let you guys know, once again, you can always listen to KCCR, thebrownstone.com. When you're at work, you can check us out. You can also check us out at KCCR, the app itself. You can download the app and listen in. We're getting ready to be like OWN. Y'all know how
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
you would go to the OWN channel and the same show would be playing 3 or 4 times. We get ready to be like that, baby. I listen. I don't
Right.
have no more qualms at this point. You gonna hear you gonna listen to Tea Time. You gonna hear Cullen's Corner 4 or 5 times during the week. Listen, and some ear hustling radio. So you're gonna get all of us. And you're what I would encourage you guys to do is to go ahead and follow the Brownstone Center on Facebook. You can follow my personal page if you're not already there. You can definitely check it out. And definitely check out Cullen Carey and also DeCarlo Collins on Facebook. But you'll get all the good stuff directly at the Brownstone Center. Now, I wanted to bring this up as well. You can check out mybrown.com. Why is that important to you guys? Because when the window first opens on mybrownstone.com, here's what you're going to get. You're going to be able to register to get, hey, Stacy, how are you? You'll be able to register for the My Brownstone Living newsletter that actually comes out in the morning. So if you go ahead and register now, you'll get your free copy of the newsletter. Guess who's on the front? Mother's Day, of course, but then also Cullen's Corner. And we've got some sales. We've got some things that are specific just for you. We've partnered with some companies to give you guys some discounts and some deals. So you definitely want to check that out. You can't get them anywhere else. So that means that we've been doing some negotiating behind the scenes. But then also make sure that you're listening to KCCR throughout the day. And also don't forget, y'all, the Hot Lunch Mix. It is back and we've got new mixes. Yes, Hot Lunch Mix. Yes. So that's what I've got right now. You are currently listening to Cullen's Corner. And let's get into this hot topic, y'all. I'm not reading that. That's too much.
You got to read it. You got to read it.
But first things first, what I want to do, DeCarlo, you have some breaking news for us.
Yes. So it has been confirmed by Revo TV as well as other sources, including his family and frat brothers, YouTube sensation, and media host of his own podcast, Kevin Samuels, has passed away officially.
Wow.
He died this morning. There's more information that's being reviewed at this time. Rest in peace to that brother. He is a member also of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So God bless his family and friends and loved ones that was affected by that. I want to get y'all's thoughts on it before I give mine, because I got something different I'm going to talk about that's concerning with this.
You know, I don't.
After the
I didn't agree with a lot of things he spoke about, but to me, it was his craft, and people, you know, no matter what you thought about it, people still went to him. So he had an audience, you know,
Yep.
and he played his part on his show, that whatever it worked,
Yeah.
that's how he played it. That's, you know, and I appreciated him because he did it his way, and he made a living by it. I feel bad that we lost a person. You know, he lost his life, and you know, I just rest in peace, and I hope his family is okay, and I hope his you know, his legacy, whatever it is, can move forward, whatever his legacy was.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna say this. That is one thing that we're all gonna have to do eventually. We don't know when that time is. And that, like the Bible says, or you hear in church all the time, we don't know the day nor the hour. All we need to do is, for each day that we are here on this planet, we have to make every moment count, because we don't know.
right.
And so big shout out to him, because one of the things that he did that a lot of people would have been afraid to do was to hold his ground and to do it his way. Right. And so he would interview women and bring them on. And I'm not going to say that I agreed with his tactic on how he would do certain things, but he didn't hold his tongue when it came to brothers either.
He didn't.
So he was just as hard on men as he was on women. And the one thing that I want to honestly say is I have heard him say in several of his communications that, no one should be alone. But you gotta be fair. You gotta do right, and not only do right, you gotta be truthful with yourself. You know what I'm saying? So he was telling a lot of truths. The only thing that I hated was a lot of men were taking his communication style and even kind of, I'm gonna say this, and y'all gonna say I'm wrong for this, okay? But even ugly men thought they were the prize. They
Hey,
listen,
They mama said
ugly men.
oh Lord,
Their mama said they wasn't ugly, so they wasn't ugly,
Yeah. So look, some of us ugly men need love too. Y'all can't do that to us ugly men.
listen, Carlo, you ain't even what I'm talking about. Don't try it. You try to put yourself in a category.
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that.
I'll be real. No, I'll be real. And like I said, I listen to a lot of his stuff. And I gotta say, God bless his family and people that are affected by it. I think and he was fair. Now I'm like y'all. I didn't agree with a lot of things he said, but in retrospect, he gave everybody the business.
Yes, he did.
He really did.
He did.
And you didn't have a choice. And that's the shock value of this whole entire thing. You know what I'm saying? When somebody's actually completely honest, I'm gonna say something that a lot of people don't want to say. People are scared of that. People are scared of true honesty. So I give the man his credit for what he did. Here's my biggest thing, and this is my biggest gripe. And I was looking through my Facebook page, I was looking through my Twitter account, even other social media, even when this first came out before we even got on the air. The one thing that's embarrassing is how people are dragging this man to the dirt, especially Black women. And we got to look at the real issue right here. If I could see if this man went around and shot the whole entire world, I could see if this man has blatantly called somebody derogatory, like racism out of his name, like a Rush Limbaugh or anybody of that nature.
Yeah.
But this man was just talking about everyday things that we all don't still know how to do, and that's have a relationship with each other.
Oh, child.
And y'all know that. Cullen, you're married. Paulette, you and I have been through some things. You know what I'm saying? We have learned a lot about ourselves through relationships. And what have we learned? A lot of nothing. Because despite of anything, you still go through. So all this man was doing was making everybody hold the accountability to themselves. So I respect him for that. But what I didn't respect is seeing mostly women who's always screaming about, I can't find a man. I can't find a man. They don't want me, or I got too high standards. Whose fault is it? You know, what are we doing in those situations to understand that, hey, maybe we are the problem? And maybe for the first time, somebody's pointing out the issues and we can't handle it. And that's my thing. But that's a whole nother show. We'll be here for a whole nother
I was getting ready to say,
that's a topic right there. That's a topic.
I don't want to go in. I don't want to go into it. It's making me want to go live tonight and bust some people out. But I'm not going to do that because I got a lot of work to do after this. But I think, I think so. God bless Kevin Samuel for everything he's done. We got to remember the man, the educated Black man who went to a HBCU, who graduated with honors, who worked in sales and marketing through his career before he even got to this level. And he used this platform to show us a lot about ourselves that we don't. So I commend him for what he did. God bless his family, and God bless the people that's affected by it.
And I'm going to end with this.
Going on the show. And people were still going on it, and they knew what he does. So
that was another thing. Yeah, don't be mad. Don't if you know you 300 pounds, why you going on the show? No, he gonna call you a fat motherfucker. I don't understand that. I never like you know he gonna call you out. He gonna cuss you out. Yeah,
And he
I
gonna,
didn't
what the
understand it.
thing is, he will ask a question, and he waiting on them to say the true answer, and if they don't say the true answer, he call them out, and
He
then
calls
that's
him
when
out.
people got mad when he got called
Mhm.
out. So go ahead.
But let me also say this before we move on to topic number 3 of the evening is this. One of the things that I really liked about him from a business perspective and what he was doing is a couple of things. One, he was not afraid to go live on Instagram. He was on there
Yeah.
religiously. He built his brand using social media, and he didn't stop. He was relentless. And if nothing else, you could
Right.
take away from that. Thanks, Cullen. One of the things that I really liked about him was the fact that from a marketer myself, for somebody that's on Facebook, and who is being paid to be here, and also who is building a brand themselves online, he was relentless, and there were
He was.
lessons to be learned from what this brother was doing in terms of building his brand using social media as his platform. So shout out to him, because I don't think he had ever really been on his show itself, or any other representation had not been anywhere except on social media,
Mm-hmm.
like long term. He might have been on a couple of shows here and there, but dude was strictly and had made a name for himself. So big ups to him for that. And if nothing else, the
Mhm.
tenacity to continue to move forward. So
Amen.
yeah, there
Right.
you go. All right. So let's get into our final topic of the night. And I'm just gonna say final topic. It's a hot one.
Mm. Hot mess.
Yeah, it is. Whew. It is a hot one. Um, One of the things that I like about some of the stuff that you get, Cullen, boy, it'd be a hot mess. My mouth would stay open. So let me just read this hot mess. Here's what I
Yeah.
want y'all to do. Before we begin reading this topic, here's what I need y'all to do. You listening, folks who are listening
Mhm.
to the show, if you're watching, share, tag, let someone know that you are watching Cullen's Corner Hot Topics, because y'all, we about to go in on this final topic of the night. And I don't know if y'all ready for what this woo. Okay, so go ahead and share, like, comment, show us some love, give us some hearts, all of that stuff. Here we go. Dear Corner, what should I do? I am married to a wonderful man. He totally changed his playboy ways when he met me almost 8 years ago, and we have been married for 4 years. Here's my problem. While we were dating, a friend of mine told me that he was cheating on me with a friend of hers, and because I was so insecure, I believed her. He denied it. We took a break, but eventually got back together. It almost ruined our relationship, but we got through it. A year ago, I ran into this same friend. We got caught up, and I asked her if she still was friends with the woman that supposedly slept with my husband. She said that she regretted ever telling me that she was the one that tried to sleep with him, and he turned her down. She
Mm.
said she was upset, and that's why
Mm.
she said what she said. She has regretted it ever since and wanted to know if I could ever forgive her because she misses our friendship. What should I do, Cullen? Should I forgive her? Should I be mad at my husband for not telling me it was her? Should I just leave it be because our life is so good and I don't want to mess a good thing up for something that happened so long ago? What should I do?
When I read this letter, it I was speechless because I was just like, I didn't expect that. It was like a plot twist. I didn't expect that. I thought it was gonna be something else, and it wasn't what I thought. To me, and Paulette, you could probably, since of course, you're the woman of the panel, you could probably speak on it. But to
I
me,
need popcorn for this. Listen.
if the roles were reversed,
Not the
I don't know.
popcorn.
A man would think of it differently. and do it differently than a woman, I think, but I don't know how. If you, first of all, if you're a friend of this person and you try to ruin this woman's marriage because her husband wouldn't cheat on her for you, why are you mad? Why are you
That
mad? That
part.
just shows that she had a good man. And then on top of that, I feel bad that this man had to go through that. And maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't want to say it was her friend. He just wanted to get it out the way. He was just like, she probably wouldn't have believed him anyway. Who knows
Right.
what he was thinking?
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is that if you're in a relationship and if you trust your mate, you should give them the benefit of the doubt. If they haven't done anything to you, in that entire time, if they were a playboy while y'all were dating, but because of you, he changed his ways, then he changed his ways. And you should, if you
Right.
didn't believe that, but if you let this one little thing almost tear down your marriage, you got to look at yourself in the mirror, you know. And as far as forgiving that young lady, I don't know. That's a hard thing to forgive. But friendship is it's hard to get friends, but I don't know if I want a friend like that. If
Exactly.
that friend wants to, you know, had a weakness and tried to tear up your life because she couldn't get some. So I don't know. What y'all think?
Ooh, ooh, wait. Let me tell you.
Oh,
Danielle
I'm
said
hell.
she
gonna
couldn't
tell
let her
you.
back in her life.
That's right. Danielle said, nope.
No, Lord Jesus.
So my
Mm.
yeah, let's talk about it. So here's my thing. So I'm proud of you know what, as a man, and Cullen and I can probably say this, there's a lot of things that we try to protect from our significant others. The
Mm-hmm.
reason being is because we understand that most women depend on relationships that they have, with their friends and stuff like that. So in this situation where the woman tried to get at her husband, that should tell you about your friend right there. So what the
Yeah.
friend gonna say? Oh, I did that for you, girl, because I wanted to make sure he was real.
Mm,
He was
mm,
real.
mm.
Lady. Let him do it on his own. Let somebody else do that on their own, and let's see what he do. And that man probably sitting here like, oh, they trying to test me. So I'm gonna be real and just, not mess with the situation with my wife. We have a great thing going on. Our marriage is pretty much good. But I think the biggest thing is look at your friend.
Mm.
And then look at your friend and see what her situation is now.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't have a relationship or she's not married to someone right now, that should tell you something right there
Mm.
as well. Think about it. What is that saying? Okay, let me still try to break this up so maybe I can still slide over in there. Let
Ooh.
me tell her, think about it.
Yeah. That's it.
Because
I
nine
am.
times
This
out of
is
I'm
ten,
a
sorry.
mess.
and tell me if I'm right or wrong, Paul. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Most women react off emotions. Am I correct?
No, not all of us.
Completing
Not only.
not, but there's a
Mm.
lot. There's quite a few that will react off the emotion of. I
Yeah.
can't believe you didn't tell me about this. Well, there's a reason. I'm protecting us, and I'm protecting your friendship. But 9 times out of 10, that man gonna get blamed for it anyway. Cause we always get blamed for crap,
You know.
no matter what it is.
I quit it.
He gonna get blamed for it.
Well,
You, you probably had you
Carlos,
probably had on your thought tank top and stuff while y'all was over there talking. She looked at your
the gray
muscles and
sweatpants.
you didn't cover up. You up here with your thought
It's,
outfit on, and she said,
it's
"Well,
our
let me
fault.
get some of this and see if it's true." It's always
or
our
or
fault.
maybe or maybe
Oh,
she was telling her friend about their adventures in the bedroom, and she
oh
wanted to see
my.
her for herself. You know,
Ooh.
That's
that's
another
that's another
thing that
topic
a
for another
lot.
day too.
Where my
That's a
fan at? Lord
whole.
have mercy.
That's a whole. That's a whole episode without the other two
It
topics
it
that we
is
just did.
that's the whole
It is.
topic.
So y'all, y'all so silly. But let me just say this. First of all, I'm with Danielle. First of all, the minute that she told me that, I would have been done with her. You know when I
Mm,
would have been done with her? I would have been done with her the minute that she said that her homegirl was sleeping with my husband. Let me tell you why. Because first of all, you're messy. Second of all, how you my friend and you knowing that your friend is sleeping with my husband? How we do that? What planet we on? What level of loyalty are you from jump for even telling me that, whether it was true or not? That's when I would have cut her off. Period. That part. Oh, well, he messing with one of my friends. Wait a minute, what? How dare you even open your mouth? You should have cut that off right then and be like, no, not my home girl. So you showing your hand right off. That's number one. Number two, the other thing that's an issue is how in the hell dare you come to me after you lonely, you broke down? Because see, now you back in my life for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It was me that was trying to sleep first. Okay, girl, if you don't get out my face, we could never be friends ever, because you have shown me time and again that you are not loyal to what I thought we had as friends. How dare you tell me that it was another woman that was sleeping with my husband that you friends with? How dare you confront me again and say I miss our friendship? I was the one who wanted your husband and he didn't jump at it. I'm gonna tell you this: women are not as stupid as we look, right? What we know is that women are catty. We also know that women will try to take what you have, hoping that it can be theirs as well, knowing that he's a good person and knowing what situation that you're in is good. I don't understand what it is about women, and that's why I guess I don't have any female friends. Here's the truth. I don't have any female friends because I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, because they always have. Now, let me just clarify. When I say friends, I mean people that I can call when I just need to drink some wine and laugh and talk and watch Waiting to Exhale for the 30,000th time. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody I can hang out with.
Exhale.
Yeah, so we can talk about a little touch of potato salad and a couple of slices of ham and some macaroni and cheese. And big as I am, you don't want this, XYZ. That's the kind of movies I want to watch with my homegirls, but we just sitting around chilling. I don't have homegirls that I rock like that with, because everybody has an agenda. Now, this new group of sisters that I'm rocking with, that's a whole different level. But what I will say is that when you are at a specific level in your personal life, you will attract those people who are like you. Now, in terms of her husband not saying anything, I wouldn't have been angry with him. I understand why he did what he did, and that was to keep the peace in his house. I get that.
The problem is
where the problem lies. Yes, but where the problem lies, DiCarlo, is he should have warned her and said, "Baby, I don't know about that one right there." He didn't have to go into detail.
He probably did.
He probably did.
To me, he probably did, and she probably was the defensive of her friend. So he probably was like, "Forget it." And what if when they were on a break, what if he would have just, forget it. She don't believe me anyway.
Right.
So I might as well go ahead and do it.
Well, the other snippet that you added up in there that made sense to me is, the homegirl saying that it's my homegirl. Like you said, why you didn't confront her. Well, here's the flip side of that. Here's the thing we ain't thinking about. Why is you coming back into my friendship life?
Yes.
After all these years.
What you want?
And then look at it again? And then look at it another side. During time frame when she was trying to sleep with her husband, maybe she wanted her friend to be just as single as her.
Come on now. There you go. There you go.
So she can have her all to herself.
So she can have her all to herself. Because here's the one thing that I've learned about most people these days. How many times have you leveled up in your life, career-wise, family structure-wise, where you always have one or two that seem jealous? They want you to stay right where they're at. Right where they're at their level of life. But as you elevate up, they're not elevating with you. For some reason, they get marginal jealous about the fact that you're elevating up and they're not. Look at this situation. This woman got a man that's potentially becoming her husband. Her friend ain't gonna be able to go out here to these brunches no more. She ain't gonna be able to go to Sunday brunch. She ain't gonna be able to go to happy hour.
Drink those mimosas.
Get them mimosas. She ain't gonna be able to go. She ain't gonna be able to go to the Lucky Lounge or
Lucky Lounge.
What you talking about?
Hey, I've been to Atlanta before. but
Ooh,
what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is there's times, and fellas too, we have friends like that that we have leveled up on,
Yeah.
and there came to a certain point where they're still here, we're here, and something happens where they don't want to hang with you anymore.
yeah,
So that's something that we really have to look at. Look at the silver lining of the whole thing.
Right.
There could be anything that's going on.
That's
that's
true.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. I personally, first of all, she is not your friend, girl. I don't know if you listening to the show or if you're gonna
Mm.
catch the replay on KCCR Radio, the Brownstone Center. But listen, honey, she is not your friend. She and let me tell you something. I find it really odd that first of all, she would confess that to you, and then
Yeah.
secondly, what does she really want at this point in the game? And if number one, if she confessed that to you, trust and believe it's still on her mind. She couldn't be
Mm.
my friend, honey. She couldn't be my doormat. She couldn't be the water that ran out of the shower head as I was in the shower every morning. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm, mm.
So listen, Danielle has something that she has to say. I knew it was coming.
Hey,
Chances
Stacy.
are, uh, chances are that this friend heard my partner and I go through chaos over her false accusations. Mm. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
think to say
Mm.
something then while the hurt and pain was going on. She wants to come back around and cause more pain. Nope,
Ooh.
exactly.
Ooh. Go ahead,
Exactly.
Danielle. That's good.
Danielle is
Add
absolutely
fuel
correct.
to the fire.
Fire.
Mm.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
And that's where I have my issue at. She could never be my friend. She was never my
So
friend, ever,
so in the end, her answer, our answer to her is keep it stepping.
period.
Keep it stepping. You
Like
know,
Martin
you,
says, get
Oh,
to
keep it stepping.
stepping.
with friends like that, you don't need enemies, right?
Enemy.
Nah.
No, don't.
Mm-mm.
The enemy is in the
Amen.
camp. Period.
Yeah.
She in the
Yeah.
camp. And that's out. That's out of there. So listen, um, Cullen just told me that I have 2 minutes. So we got 2 minutes to finish talking about this topic. So so he's the clock man. I want y'all to know because I could go. Okay.
Hey, we
This is
already
All
a
of
over,
us.
but I figure this is our first show. We can
yeah,
talk a
we
little bit.
already over it. But listen, y'all,
Yeah.
um, this was really, really good. And it's good to be back in the fold. Cullen, you know that Cullen's Corner used to be 2 hours anyway. Don't do it. But and I know we're in
Yeah.
a different place in our life. We're in a different
Right.
place in our
Mhm.
life. But I want you to know that this is probably as many hot topics. And I hate to hear that, but Cullen's Corner has always been a staple. I'm excited that you are back in the fold. I appreciate you reaching out and saying, hey, sis, let's get the show back. I would love to have some of our previous corner family members come and join us in
Yes.
upcoming episodes, and also bring on some new folks
Oh
who
yeah.
got some great things to talk about. And I've already been talking to some of these folks, and y'all,
Mhm.
they ready. Thank you so much for the
Hey, they
hearts,
can come
y'all.
on. We can bring some guest
Yeah,
hosts in. If y'all want to join the
absolutely,
show, y'all come and
Yeah.
join
absolutely.
the show.
Come and join the show. We would really appreciate it, y'all.
Yes. Yes.
And like Cullen always says, and back in the day, he used to say, come and join the movement. This is a movement, y'all.
The
This is
movement.
absolutely a movement.
It's
We've been
still a
doing
Yes,
movement.
it is.
it, still is. And let me, quiet as this kept coming, I want to go back to what you were saying. I know we're trying to wrap it up. Is this, Cullen, we've been doing this for me and you. And I love to say this. What most people don't know is Cullen and I have been doing on air. We've been on the mic together since we were how old?
Man,
We were in high
shoot.
school.
High school, yeah.
We were in high school when I
At
weighed
least
like 98 pounds.
15.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
about 15. We was about 15. So I was about 98 pounds soaking wet. I was all breast. It was terrible.
I
Um,
was gonna say
so
that.
fun. And we would do the morning announcements. Ding ding
I'm
ding. What's that?
Yes.
Riverside Tigers. Da da da. So we've known each other that long.
Shout
But
out to 88. Shout out to
yes,
88.
that's right. Class of 88 in the building.
There
So
you go.
listen, y'all. One of the things that I do recall, and Cullen said it best, is we have been doing this for about 13 years, actually, because we started this show when KJ was 3.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 15 now. So that's about 12, 13 years, and give or take. And we were the first to do this. And like you said, there are some people that jumped in behind us. And at first it was, oh, they're just that internet station. They're just that internet show. Baby, we was on terrestrial radio as well. We
Sure
were
was.
syndicated. And so from there, we went directly we stayed on Blog Talk Radio. We had our cruise with D Page and her amazing husband. And then that's where we met Danielle and her crew and Lamont and Tina, just so many amazing people that we've met along the way that we're all still friends. And hopefully we'll be able to do another cruise. Big shout out to all of the Corner family members, and I'm going to definitely shout them out. Forgive me, Cullen, I have to do this. I know we're trying to wrap up, but I think we would be remiss to not do this. Shout out to Corner family members that go way back. Nikki Thomas. We have Winnie Phillips. We have Dee Page. We have Lamont Belton. And of course, Clay Johnson. May he rest in peace.
Yes.
So the Divas and Dolls cruise. Yes, come and go with us. Yes, we had such an amazing time. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of put that out there. And let you guys know that there are going to be some cruises. There are going to be some Sunday brunches. There are going to be some barbecues in the brownstone, baby. Listen, we already working on the behind the scenes. So we're excited about that. We want you guys to continue to stay connected. And again, contact at thebrownstonesound.com. Contact at thebrownstonesound.com if you guys want to be a part of the KCCR family and you want to be behind the scenes, you want to pay a little lease or whatever, 30 minutes, you want 60 minutes, you want a weekly show, you want a monthly show, you want the services that we offer, we got you, okay? Because we want you to get out here in these internet streets and we want you to win. And we're not just talking about on Meta. We know that there are so many different things that are out there where you can introduce your brand, build your brand, and grow your brand. And that's where we come in. We don't want you to be overshadowed by all of the big dogs with millions of dollars on Spotify and on Anchor. We want you to learn from the best, and that's right here. And then you can take it wherever you want.
That's right.
All right, I'm done. I'm done talking.
Well, before you close out, Cullen, to you and Paulette, I got to say this. Thank y'all for letting me come into the fold. You know, I was a fan, then I became a intern like person, and then I started my own. But I'm inspired by you two, and I'm inspired by the journey, you know, that y'all have been on for the past 13 years. And thank y'all for letting me be in the fold as well. And, you know, being a part of this journey as well. Because like you said, when I came into the picture, it was the man cave. You know, that was big at that time for the fellas to talk about sports and relationships. And then, you know, just enjoying the ride. So thank y'all both for letting me into the fold and having fun. But to all the people that's out there that's looking right now, please check out Your Hustling Radio. Please check, and you can look at it. You can check it out on the KCCR radio app, most importantly. But you can also listen to it on Spotify as well as Spreaker.com. And then also, don't forget about the B-side. The B-side is coming up officially next Friday, the first show. The B-side is dedicated to all my music lovers that love to dig in the crates, that love to listen to music, deep cuts, classics, new school music, and you can look at it right there on mybrownstoneLiving.com and get everything that you need. Also, don't forget about the newsletter that we do each and every month. And also coming soon is the online magazine, mybrownstoneLiving.com, which is going to be amazing. We're going to bring in everything from fashion to tips and topics. You name it. I can't think of a lot of things to put on there, but it's going to be a lot of profile stories that we're going to put out, mainly about us as well as other people that we bring into the fold. It's going to be fun. And also, real soon, sometime in the near future, we're going to have the YouTube channel ready as well, where you'll be able to see not only this video, but all of our shows being able to be on there as well. So it's going to be a complete portal for us to be able to bring you everything from news, entertainment, talk, and just having a good time. So thank y'all for being a part of this.
I love it. I love it. Cullen, do you have any final words?
I just want to, again, I'm glad we're back, and I'm a lot of our old fans, a lot of our new family members. I can't wait to see what this journey is going to take us. I want to mention, Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
God bless to all the
Yes.
mothers. I want to shout my mother out
Yes.
who passed away
Yes.
recently.
Yes.
I miss you, love you, mom. And a lot of those people out there that have missed that lost their loved ones, or if the ones that are still here, embrace them. And love
Absolutely.
them, and it ain't nothing like a mother. So
Mhm.
if
Amen.
you see your mom, you give her all the love you can get her. While she's still here.
Absolutely.
So
Amen. Amen.
we got some new shows coming up. If you got any different topics you want us to talk about, you got some letters you want
Absolutely.
to write me, send them to me, send them to Paulette, send them to Carlo. You don't have to just send them to me anymore. It's good. We'll keep you anonymous if you want to be anonymous.
Yep.
If you want to come on the show, come on. We ain't gonna bite. Unless you want us
If
to,
you
it's all
look,
good.
if you want to
I
put
can
your
turn
business out
I can
there,
turn to the queue and invite you, but
Colin, no, 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 no.
yeah, let them do
if
it.
you
Let
want
them
to put
do it.
like,
Let them do it.
like the Kyla said, if you want to put your business out there, we're here to help you put your business out there.
Oh Lord Jesus, y'all. Oh my goodness. And so again, I just wanted to say I'm glad to see us here. This was really good. I
Yeah.
know that there are more to come, and I'm excited about that. I can't wait until next week's show. This is what you need to know, folks. For those of you all who are watching, who are going to be watching the replay, if you're going to check out the replay, type in the chat replay. Go ahead and share this, like, comment. Let us know that you're here. The conversation doesn't stop because we've turned off the lights, the virtual lights, right? You can go ahead and check us out at the Brownstone Center on Facebook. Check out Brownstone Living and Essentials, and also check out the Sunday brunch, right? We also have, again, mybrownstoneliving.com. I'm not going to put it out here, but y'all, I think it's some spices over there that y'all can buy too. That is all. Okay, so, and what this does is this helps to pay for the things that you are seeing. So we definitely want to put that into perspective. So I want to end with something that we used to always end the show with. And Cullen, you should know what it is. You already know who it is. And shout out to the Qs. Shout out to the Qs that are with us. Shout out to the Qs, the biggest
Pink
Q
Gator.
I know, Pink Gator. All right, you guys, this is Cullen's Corner. I'm Paulette.
I'm Cullen.
And I'm DeCarlo.
You gonna eat your beans and cornbread? Yes, it's your grown man hater. Yeah, P-I-N-C. Yeah, it's right here, baby.
All right, y'all.
That's right. I'm a cute.
Now we gonna get Gator back on, right?
Yes, you all is too real. I'm a cute. I will see you all in the morning.
Just go nice man. I'm cute.
For what? The day shift. You all have a good night. We
Have a
out.
good one.
I'm cute.